We do have homes on separate coasts, so dive in grease with squids. Could have been so bleeping rich, but instead we had kids. They won't smile for a photo, they won't eat the food we choose. That's why we're heading to the Parents Lounge to drown ourselves in booze. Every day we're more exhausted, we haven't slept in years. They hit me in the nuts so bad, my eyes filled up with tears. And yes, we'd like to fake our death and go off of the grids, but the truth is we are softies and we truly love our kids. So join us every Tuesday night to laugh at all our pain. Evening in the Parents Lounge is the cure to staying sane. Welcome once again to our weekly oasis in the dilemma that is parenting. I'm joined as always by Jason Gowan. I'm Jamie Kaler. Welcome to the Parents Lounge, everybody.
Hello. I need this week.
I needed this week. We'll get into it, but I literally just got over the hiccups seconds ago. So
yes, I was here.
It's the peril of live broadcasting. So we have a fantastic show. Do you want to help bring in some of our cast members, or should I just introduce the whole panel and we'll
just bring them in?
All right, listen. This let's start with our two normal our moms of record who are here to basically give us our approval rating. Please welcome Kate Mulligan and Claire Kramer. Hey guys, how are you?
Hello.
We don't approve. Thank you.
I know.
Goodbye.
I know. We're way past intros. I feel like every week I go, and please welcome from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Claire Kramer. Please welcome from the Schmoville Show. But we're not. We're done that. We're the panel now, but we have a fantastic guest tonight. This guy I've known forever. He's an old friend of mine. We met at Acme Comedy Theater where he was just tearing it up with sketches and impressions that were hilarious. And then he went on to, he's on The Family Guy, many shows. He had a podcast with Kevin Smith. He was the morning guy on K-Rock, Showbiz Beat forever. And now he is the man and the master behind The Ralph Report, which is a phenomenal daily show that he puts out. It's on Patreon. It's fantastic. We'll talk about it. Please welcome Mr. Ralph Garman.
Hello.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Wow, I'm going to hire you to follow me around. That was beautiful.
I still, every now and then I get that late 90s Barker's voice of like, hey, coming up next, you're going to hear these guys.
Would you like to explain to people how you got rid of the hiccups that you had moments ago?
Yeah.
So, and it's funny too, because I'm a bartender. I had horrific hiccups for like an hour before the show. And I got on and Ralph said, cut a lemon or a lime, dip it in sugar, and then stick it in your mouth. And I was like, that's crazy. I walked out front. I have a lemon tree, and it was very unripe lemon. It was almost
bragger.
It was a lemon limer.
It was a little braggy, wasn't it, Mulligan?
It was a little braggy.
I have a lemon.
I went out to my orchard.
There was no problem for me. I didn't even have to go to the store because I don't know if you know this, but I make my own fruit in these parts.
Yeah. I have a lemon orchard. It's just one tree, but it's a really large tree.
Listen, I had the help go cut me a lemon off the tree.
Kate's pretty sassy for someone who stumbled into the studio at about 7 p.m. exactly this evening.
Oh,
honestly, for her, that's early.
Kate's got the youngest ones here, with the exception of Jason.
Kate, Ralph, Kate. Hey, how was everybody's week?
No.
Great. Super.
Solid medium.
Yeah. It was a rough week.
Well, I couldn't lose mine. My daughter's learning to play drums, so it's all falling into place for me. I tried to get her to learn the piano. I even got her a guitar kind of thing, but now she's into drums. And so I haven't bought her a drum kit. I bought her a drum pad. But at the school, she has a full drum kit, and she is just beating the sweet Jesus out of it. And she keeps saying, when you buy me a drum kit? And I said, when you can play like John Bonham. Like, I'm going to wait until she's like tearing it up before I put one.
You don't even have to buy one because I have one in my garage. I can give you it.
to go with the 2 wetsuits you gave me. Okay.
Yeah, the wetsuits play, right? They're great.
Yeah, they're great.
I will give you the drum kit. Fortunately, none of my kids took to it. I also have, well, as you know, I have several out of size violins. We all play the violin, but that is, neither here nor there. The drum kit is yours if it won't make you hate me.
Wait, your whole family plays violin?
The kids
Oh,
and me
okay.
and my brother-in-law, and yeah.
What a bunch of
sister.
dorks.
Jeez.
Yeesh, that's
Oh,
horrible.
you got
I'd
part
rather
of an
my kid
orchestra.
hit drums. So
Jamie, let me tell you something. I grew up playing the drums. You can't do that. You can't have drums. You just can't do it. It's a nightmare. My parents, they never recovered. And I had a basement. I grew up in the East Coast where they had basements where you could be in the ground and that would muffle some of the sound.
Right.
But it's just a nightmare. Just keep her with the pads. Get a set of pads or electronic drums at least where you can turn the volume down, but you can't do acoustics.
I think you have to pick something slightly more enticing and exciting for her. So like, what would that be than drums? Like, what's the up level that you can deal with?
Chainsaws? What's up from drums? Like what?
I don't know.
Where do you go from drums?
Listen, I say you just move the drums to the orchard. You get a tent.
Yes.
You pick it. You put it in the
Yeah, but then the
orchard.
squirrels bitch, and then
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But it's so far for her to travel down to that part of the property.
I know.
To then
Have her take the monorail. Just
I was
take the
gonna say,
monorail right
take the
down.
monorail. I was going to say golf cart, but monorail
Yeah.
absolutely
Her
dwarfs that
hoverboard.
bit.
Comedy trigger word. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it.
Monorail wins every time. He just
I was
went
keeping it in my back pocket just in case.
Yes, Matt, bongos would do. My family had a bongos at the house, and that was bongos, and tambourine is the worst instrument because everyone thinks they can play it at like those pickup parties. So it's like, oh, a tambourine. You're like, dude, put that down.
Like, no.
Tell her that she'll never be popular being a drummer because you can't go to parties and entertain if you're a drummer. If you have a guitar or a piano, everyone can gather around and sing and it makes you popular. Trust me, as a drummer, I knew in middle school I made the wrong choice because the ladies don't flock to you when you're playing Wipeout in the corner at a party. It just doesn't work.
If you're sitting there just playing the Phil Collins drum part with I can hear it coming in the air tonight. Boom, 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 boom. No, that doesn't work.
No, does not attract the ladies.
Let's welcome our guest, Ralph, buddy. I'm so glad you came to do this. And honestly, some people we don't have them come live, but obviously you do your show every week. The Ralph Report has a huge fan base. You used to do the Hollywood Showbiz Beat.
Well, more than that, I did celebrity impressions and characters and whatnot for many years on
every sketch.
K-Rock. Yeah, I did a lot of voice stuff on K-Rock, and I'm lucky because a lot of those people followed me over to my own thing, which is the Ralph Report over there at Patreon.com. So, and also I do Hollywood Babylon with Kevin Smith, my buddy. So, podcasting has now become my thing, and it's still hard to tell people though when they ask you, "So, what are you doing now for a living?" And you go, podcaster, because it sounds like everybody's doing it and anyone can do it, and I guess that's true, but you folks do it well. That's what I'm saying.
It's not true, and I think you should say you're into audio. Like,
ooh,
I'm in the audio.
Oh, that's good.
And just leave it at that. Like, change the subject. Then they're not like, what?
And then I'd be like, oh, great, I need a deal on hearing aids.
Can you get me some speakers?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Bagpipes. I forgot. I worked in an Irish bar and we had the bagpipe would come in guy and he'd play like with the Irish band and he literally could only join in like one song. Because after that you'd be like, dude, enough with the bagpipes. Yeah. He'd be trying to riff over the top of people. People got we can't.
Concerned you've never actually heard bagpipes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they sound like.
When a cow gets hit by a car.
We of course are doing a, for those of you who are in Los Angeles, California, we are doing a little something at the Improv Comedy Club on the 19th, which is going to be super fun. Now you were hosting that. And it's kind of, you know what I loved about it? Because we always talked about this. It's about the Rat Pack. And I just watched an old Dean Martin thing. That's kind of, I still miss that kind of vibe with just people. This is kind of what this kind of turned into virtually, where it's just a bunch of people hanging, shooting the shit, and trying to laugh and stuff. But I love that about shows where it's kind of more of a party than it is just straight everybody doing stand up.
That's the premise of the show. It's sort of a throwback to those old Christmas variety specials that they used to have on television that you don't have anymore. And so we're doing it Rat Pack style. I'm hosting, but I will be hosting as the ghost of Frank Sinatra, which I think will be
that's
more
great.
fun.
I like it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I do
And-
feel like you have to end the show by saying, "Come home safe, boys."
Yeah, like Bob Hope.
Yeah,
Hey,
I
I
feel
want to
like
tell
it's
you,
like-
folks,
yeah.
that Lonnie Anderson, she's something, isn't she? I'll tell you. Great to have her on the show tonight, everybody. Hey, let's welcome Joey Heatherton, everybody. Just start bringing up old celebrities. No, but I will be Dead Sinatra hosting the show, and we've got Teddy Town, of course, the great Ted Hardwick, who Jamie knows well. Jamie's going to be on hand. We've got our friend Antoinette Spolar, who's going to do Liza Minnelli. Will be doing
my
some
God.
numbers, and so it'll be evening of comedy and music with a holiday theme. And we're doing it at the Improv on the 19th of December, and you can get tickets at improv.com. There's my plug.
Right there.
Oh, look at that!
Yeah, that's
Boom.
really.
Very fun. I kind of love that. It's funny. I've been, sometimes like, I don't know why YouTube must know me, because it's like, hey, you want to see Dick Cavett interview George Harrison? You're like, yeah, actually, I kind of
100%.
do.
Yeah, I really
Yeah.
do.
It's a lot of quiet. It's like, I don't really want to do an interview. And then he's like, well, I guess we'll just, like, you couldn't get away with that now. People would watch 2 seconds and go, I can't, my brain can't comprehend the silence.
There's nothing viral going on. How can I watch this as a clip tomorrow? It's just a conversation.
But I
Here's
will
the
say-
funny thing about that, and I think you're wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think you're wrong.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
when I was on radio at the station here in Los Angeles, KROQ, which was a massive station at the time, I pitched them an idea, and I said, give me your worst shift, your worst hour. My friend Kevin Smith and I want to go on, and we just want to crack wise about entertainment and do bits and stuff and everything. Give us 2:00 on a Sunday morning or whatever it is. Let's just fill time. And we did a pilot show, and I gave it to the management, and they said, no one wants to hear people talk anymore. It's all about production and music and pow and zap, and that no one will ever listen to people talk. And then podcasts exploded, and everybody wants to just listen to people talk. So I bet somebody could do a TV talk show where they sat down with somebody and had an actual conversation again.
Yeah.
That's me, though.
I mean, George Harrison for sure.
For sure.
Is he available?
Let me ask you this, though.
Like, what's he up to now?
It didn't end well for him. Do you notice at all, because you do a lot of interviews with celebrities on the Ralph Report, which
Yes.
I love. Do you find, like, Stern had a way of people opening up and maybe saying things that they didn't want to, but I feel like more and more people are gun shy to a point where they are afraid of that one soundbite,
Of course.
where they say that. So everyone's so cautious that they're almost too scared to say anything.
But once you engage someone in an actual conversation, you'd be surprised what comes out. I think people are afraid of being set up, and they're afraid of being exposed. But if you enter into a conversation with people, I think more often than not, they'll open up on some level.
Jason actually has a scroll ready on this show for whenever I say anything, that he'll throw the scroll up that says the Parents Lounge does not agree with the statements made by Yep, there it is.
Kate Mulligan do not reflect the moral and ethical views of the rest
There
of
it
the cast.
is. There it is.
I have to use it no less than 8 times per show.
Thank you.
just want to say.
I'm a little jealous and a little shocked, Kate.
Here's the thing, Claire. Your thoughts and the words that come out are eloquent and in no way offensive to anyone. And Claire or Kate, well, almost everything is going to get us canceled.
Listen, the homeless people they can't watch this to know I'm making fun of them.
And there's no
Wow.
There it goes. Yeah.
You're
I just wanted
homist.
to set him up.
You're a homist.
I'm a homist.
You guys find that having kids made you more mellow with your language and your attitude, or did it have the opposite where you ramped it up when you were with other adults because of all the time you spend with kids?
It's a great question.
I thought so.
It's a
Why I asked it.
I'm not going to answer it. I'm just going to tell you what a great question it was.
Great
Please,
question.
just give me marks.
Is this a good interview?
Give me notes.
If you say the last word on like sort of an up, we'll know even more that it's a question, you know.
Have
So-
you changed your attitude to a lesser degree, or are you more vocal with your attitudes?
Oh, that was it. That's the one, folks.
Let's print that one. We're moving on.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm driving
Oh,
yesterday.
we're really not going to answer it. Okay.
There you
You're
go.
really not going to answer it.
I'll set you up. Are you okay? You
Okay.
ready to answer it or no?
Yeah. No, you go.
This will set you up because you can tell me how you feel about this particular situation. I'm driving down Hollywood Street. It's tight. Two cars. You know, it's where you have to kind of slow down to go past each other.
Yeah,
There's a
swerve a little
dude.
to miss the mirrors.
Yeah, there's a dude with like 3 shopping carts tied together like a train.
You were on Franklin Avenue, weren't you?
He's going down the middle of the street. No, it was by a grammar school. It was right in front of a grammar school
Okay.
in the valley. And luckily, not my grammar school, but a different grammar school. And I know kids who go there, so I worry about their future.
Right.
He was blocking it, and I was like 3 cars back from him. Some other woman goes up on the other side coming towards us, and she's picking somebody up, and she stops mid lane, just mid lane.
Mm.
And he's trudging along, and because she stops, we can't go around him. She has just blockaded the entire street. So I honk
Mhm.
to her to go, hey, you know, they need different types of honks of like, hey, this is a casual honk. Hey, F you. Hey,
Yeah.
This is danger. So I honk to her, and I'm pointing to her to go, hey, there's a homeless dude. You can't stop there. Pull up. And so she's like, what? And she kind of looks in her rearview mirror. The homeless dude, of course, thought I was
Mhm.
honking at him.
He didn't know
He-
it wasn't the homeless
He
honk.
immediately turns around and looks at me and eyeballs me. And then I'm like, shit, I got to drive past this guy. Guess whose car gets spit on? Mine. And
And then your car.
I tried to crack the window to go, I wasn't honking at you. No,
Yeah.
your homelessness doesn't bother me. I'm okay with what you're doing. Obviously, it'd be better if you're on the sidewalk. Where you are is fucking insane, but you're homeless, so you're obviously insane. I'm honking at the woman for just pulling up in the middle of the street and stopping like a fucking dick.
Okay.
But it's too late. He doesn't comprehend. He spits in my car and I go by. And so, Kate, I ask you again,
Mhm.
Rob's question.
I think I always, when I got with adults, had a filth mouth. I don't know that kids heightened it or not. What I will say is that the majority of the thing that's changed is the hours of my day that I'm using the filth mouth has definitely gone on or gone down since I've had kids, because
The kids
still
have
got
cut into your
really-
filth time.
Yeah, they've really cock blocked my filth time. Oof.
Do you guys have a swear jar in the house?
Yeah.
For me?
Yeah, no, I meant for you. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how we paid for our last vacation.
You know,
No.
I'm struggling right now with my kids. And Ralph, in case you have heard me mention the younger twos, aged 8, 9, and then 11 and 13.
That's right. She has
And-
4.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
kids.
It's a lot of kids.
I'm not struggling with cursing. I'm struggling with shut up. And
Oh.
I
Oh,
don't like it at
Mhm.
all.
I'm
Are
with
they
you.
saying it to you or to each other? Or
Everybody.
both?
It doesn't matter. It's a community, you know, it's like saying hi here sometimes. So I'm really like trying to say, listen, I know it's not a curse word, but I don't find that appropriate. I don't think that's a good way to express your emotions, you know? And I don't know. I'm just curious. What do you guys think about shut up?
Not into it.
I'm with
Not
you.
into
Good
it.
for you. I mean,
Yeah.
I think rudeness and lack of respect is much more offensive than any language or curse that a kid could say. I
Yeah.
absolutely agree with you.
Also, my son said to me, he's like, "Is it okay if I say the S word about something?" And I was like, "What's the S word?" And he was like, "I just think that rule is stupid." And I was like, "Oh yeah." But that is like that. We have definitely said like, please don't ever call anybody like stupid is a swear word. Like, don't call anybody stupid
is?
ever. Yeah, Jamie,
Is stupid a
Thinking of
bad
school
word?
setting.
Jamie,
I mean, I know
stupid's
that
not nice.
I don't call my kids.
What if you're calling a homeless person stupid who can't
Yeah.
hear you
All
because they don't
for
listen to the podcast?
He
All
wasn't
for
stupid.
it.
It was the woman
Right.
blocking the
Oh, here we go.
What is wrong with people who just nobody uses? It's like people are. Wouldn't you pull up until there was a bit of an opening, and then like people just stop in the middle of the street and go like, "I'm here. I'm gonna do some stuff, and then I'm gonna leave." No,
Sandy, we have a segment on the Ralph Report called "People Are Garbage," and it's just because people don't know what the fuck they're doing anymore.
Yeah, people
they're
are
just
garbage, Ralph.
they're just fucking hopeless.
Are they garbage or are they stupid?
I lump them all together. I think stupid people are garbage.
But I feel like the older I get, the weirder and dumber everyone else gets.
You're
Like,
not wrong.
everyone, but like the more I'm shocked and surprised. Let me just say that. I have never been so shocked and surprised at behavior from grown humans as I am the older I get.
We did a story on the Ralph Report this week. I swear to God, this happened. It was logged into the flight attendants report on Delta Airlines. I don't know if you saw this or not.
I did.
About the woman who brought out her hairless cat.
cat. Right?
Hairless cat, swaddled it in a blanket, and then tried to breastfeed the hairless cat.
And would not stop.
Would not
the
stop
cat
when
was
asked to put the
screaming.
cat back into the carrier.
Was the cat into it?
No,
Yeah.
the cat was screaming and squirming and trying to get away from her erect nipple.
Okay.
That's fair.
Because people are garbage. Who does that? A, to a cat, and then B, on a crowded aircraft
But
on
Ralph,
a flight
Okay,
to
Ralph,
Charlottesville.
was she even in milk? Was she even
Was she
Probably
lactating?
not. Probably
That's-
not.
That's the least important part of the story, in my opinion.
Only
Claire.
No, it's also just another barrier to reality.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. A lactating ruse upsets me for some reason.
Well, I'll tell you what. I got the.
That was my band name in college.
Lactating
Lactating
Ruse.
Ruse. Ladies and gentlemen, we are Lactating Ruse. Good night.
Coming up after them, it's Monorail. Woo!
I'll look into it, Katie. I'll see what I can do this week.
My first question is: had the cat's teeth been taken out? That's all I need to know. That's the most important question I have about that.
I hope not. I hope she got everything
hope
she
she got-
deserved. She got fanged.
Yeah.
But have you ever heard of anything so insane in your whole life until
No, when I
lately?
read that story, I was literally just like,
Yes.
I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless.
Yeah, we're done. We're circling the drain as a society.
like,
All right, let's hold on. Michelle says, so I was working at Walmart and I was working at self-checkout, and this woman started to ring up her item, and with a serious look on her face, she asked if this is self-checkout.
Yeah.
That's, you know what?
There you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
It depends on your sense of self, I guess.
I just walk out and then they go, I go, oh, I'm doing self-checkout with my phone. I'm going to do it in my car.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I'm surprised people don't do crazy shit. Yeah. I mean,
Oh, I'm sure they have.
You said that was the craziest thing. Every day I see, here's what I can't believe when people go, I was shocked. Really? Nothing.
Yeah.
Does anything shock you anymore? Like the cat doesn't shock me at all.
I'm shocked that she flew Delta. That sounds like a JetBlue story.
Or a spirit.
Well, that's
Yes,
spirit.
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 Yeah, Spirit.
Charge,
That's like
charge you
a.
for the luggage. You got to use the restroom. That's a
Yes,
charge.
yeah.
Charge for your purse. Maybe you want a snack. You know.
Yeah. It's,
Do you
wanna
think
see
this
this
stuff was
very
always
quick.
going on and we're just now becoming more
Yeah.
exposed to it? Or
What
do you
came
think-
first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah.
I mean, is it the internet that is
Yeah.
allowing this craziness? But can you imagine? Now, I love watching old westerns or old shows set in different time periods, 1800s, whatever. And I started watching this great one last night. I can't remember the name of it, but it got me thinking, like, gosh, there's no pharmaceuticals for these people. So if they're batshit crazy, bipolar, depressed, which is not being batshit crazy, but depression is a real thing, and so is bipolar, whatever. They don't have any resources. They're just like living on the farm and then doing what they can to survive. And it really made me thankful that we live in an age where they have at least begun to study the brain and we can understand, and treat mental disorders. That's
I love that's where you went in like the mid 1800s. I'm more like an infected tooth would kill you.
yeah.
Women died
That's
during
what I'm saying,
childbirth.
though.
It's like an appendicitis would kill you. And you're like, man, I wish that person could get some help for their ADHD. Like that's what you would think. Oh, that
Well,
guy seems really
obviously,
stressed
Jamie,
out. I
I'm
wonder if he gets some
projecting.
melatonin to sleep.
I'm obviously projecting, but I mean,
The boy over at the Parsons Ranch, he's a little colorful.
Right.
I died from I stepped on a nail and I died, Jonas.
Well, they did have medicine. It was called heroin.
Yeah.
And they also had cocaine.
And bourbon.
I believe.
And bourbon.
There was no anesthesia. In the Civil War, the guy would go, "Oh, your foot's really damaged. We're going to have to cut your leg off. You might want to bite down on this." There's no...
They just hand him a belt strap and here we go.
Fucking bootstrap, and the guy would just start sawing your leg off.
Maybe nobody noticed the people who were mentally disturbed because they were so busy trying to stay alive. And now that we have all of these, now our life is relatively easy, we're starting to look around and go, "Holy shit, that woman is breastfeeding a cat."
Right. I mean, the age expectancy was, 40s to 50s for, most of the population. I don't know. Crazy. Yeah.
Whiskey's also the anesthesia of the New West, Katie. Just got to say that.
Yeah, it is.
And also the Northeast, the Southeast.
Yeah.
Speaking of whiskey, did you guys ever have the home remedy, the hot toddy?
Oh,
Which
yeah.
was like tea, whiskey, honey, and it literally cured anything.
Yeah.
So where has that gone?
Cloves are the trick, right? Cloves in it.
Oh, yeah, cloves.
We used to make them in the bar all the time. It was like you'd come in, sit. Remember the days when you were sick and you actually went out in public? It was crazy back then.
And party.
Right? And we'd be at the bar and people would come up for drinks and they go, "Hey, how's it going?" "Oh, I'm really sick. What are you drinking?" And they'd be like, "Oh, whatever." And everybody would be fine.
You went out because you were sick. You went to the bar to feel better.
Now, if you're like, "I feel a little warm," people are like, "Dude, fucking don't go anywhere.
Burn it with fire." Yeah, I know. Do you guys ever have second thoughts about having had kids watching the world sort of circle the drain? Does that ever cross your mind?
Every day.
Me too.
I think because I know my kids, I cannot think about it that way. I've met them.
What, you think they deserve this world?
Yeah, one of them definitely does. One of them is a real Palpatine. You know what I mean?
I actually am concerned that mine will be responsible for the final flush.
Yeah, I know. Truly.
Wow.
But no, I just feel like I don't know. Like I couldn't send them back. Is I guess what I'm saying. I couldn't.
Well, none of us can.
No,
listen. I've got some ways.
I completely agree. I mean, I don't want to send my kids out in this world. I always tell them, like, you can only move one house away when you graduate and go to college, and which is the exact opposite of what I did. I grew up in a very small town in Ohio and left for NYU when I was 17, and what was on my own. But I'm always like, no, you're going to stay close. And, but I agree, Kate, like once you can't take that, that relationship back. But I think it's really hard to parent knowing what's out there and to try to teach the appropriate level of exposure to everything. That's my challenge,
Claire,
especially with two girls who are teenagers.
Yeah.
Claire, how many nights a week do you sleep with one of the kids?
Every night. Every night.
You felt it, Ralph. Didn't you feel it about halfway through?
I got a little. There was a disturbance in the force.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you rotate which kid it is, or it is always, or do you have
whoever needs me?
Now serving, and there's
whoever needs you. You mean whoever fills the need that you have?
No.
Boom!
It's
Truth
really,
bomb.
Actually, it's funny. Sky, I sleep with the most of the time, and he's the 8-year-old. But today he announced, "I'm sleeping on the couch," and I'm like, "That's great. Okay, fine, buddy. You can. Like, I'll cover you with blankets and whatever." He's on the top bunk of the bunk bed, and his ladder is broken right now. So I'm like, if you want to sleep out here, that's kind of like camping. It's fun for you. No problem.
Or is it your ladder that's broken, Claire?
Right?
Boom! Truth bomb!
Hey, Claire, you want some ice for that burn?
All right. Let's get happy with Claire. Claire, I understand you got a little new addition to the family this week.
So I was thinking, it's the holidays. We're all holidaying all the time.
Mistake.
everybody's going through similar Hanukkah or Christmas or Kwanzaa or whatever situations. And so I thought it'd be fun to play like a little holiday word association, So I'm going to say a word. This is how it's going to work. I'm going to say a word, and then I'll just go around, and you can blurt it out if you want, but then we'll individually go around and talk about. So let's blurt it out, and then we'll talk about what each of you guys associate with this word.
We'll go to our guest first. Definitely go to Ralph first, and then we'll fill in the backfill of it. Right?
It
Why don't we go
depends on
around the
how well
horn so we're
Ralph
not
answers.
all
If
screaming at
Ralph is
once?
doing well, I'll continue to go to him first. But if
I'm sorry, Claire. I apologize for anything.
No pressure.
Thank you, Jamie. So the first word on the holiday word association game is elf.
Daughter.
God.
Will Ferrell.
Painful.
Okay, Ralph, let's go with daughter.
Only because, I have just the one, and she is 11 and still a believer, and I'm so happy because we get one more Christmas in. But she does have the elf on the shelf thing, and the elf on the shelf has a wife and a pet, and it's still my responsibility when she's here with me, not with my ex, that I have to move the goddamn elves and make them do something brilliantly entertaining, and the pressure ramps up each and every year and each and every day, and it's the bane of my fucking existence, where I almost want to tell her there is no Santa Claus at this point.
Okay.
That's actually why I said painful.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I
work
have
harder
three-
on the elves than I do my show that I do 5 days a week.
Same,
on
same
Patreon.
Ralph, same. Because I have the original elf that came with the oldest, and then we have now twin elves that came together.
It's never enough. It escalates.
Oh, one of my elves is wearing a soccer uniform because the boys are, soccer players.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it has to wear a, uniform. So we call it the flea because that's elf backwards. So if you need to talk about it openly, you say, "Have you taken care of the flea?"
Wow, that's genius. How did I not think of that?
That's pretty smart.
Mm-hmm.
I said the word God because I equate it to, it makes me laugh. It feels like it's an all-powerful being who's watching over you, and if you don't behave, you will be punished. And so I felt like it was the same thing of like a religion of like and for 1 month a year we basically blackmail our kids to behave. Anytime during the month of December they don't behave, we go, "He's watching," and they go, "Oh, you know what? Let me pick up my clothes. That was my bad. I'm sorry about it." Like, it's so cheap, but we use it.
It is a little Old Testament-y, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. It just it feels to me, and funny because my wife's out of town this week, and so I have it's like 2 a.m. I woke up and I was like, "Oh," and I came running downstairs to like place it somewhere.
Oh.
Terrible.
Oh,
Well, I said Will Ferrell. You guys probably can't guess why, but it's because he's really tiny, like an elf.
He is a tiny, small guy.
Just
You're
small,
right.
just small in stature. I think everybody knew that, but just wanted to reiterate. That's why.
The movie is like one of my top 10 movies.
Oh,
not even holiday movies, just movies.
Everybody has a
Good
quote
movie.
as soon as you bring it up. It's so good.
Good movie. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Great. Good first round, guys. Let's see if Ralph can hold his position.
Actually,
But
Ralph
she said,
Ralph can hold this position for a very long time. Trust me.
Okay. Yellow snow. Word association.
Many people
Yellow-
involved. The position does not change, and it's just,
No,
just a good
doesn't.
position. It's a good, strong position. I've
It
seen
is.
it. Fantastic.
it's a
All right.
plank.
Yellow snow.
I'm sorry, one more time.
Yellow snow.
Fuck.
Will Ferrell. No, I'm just kidding. Snoopy.
Snow cone.
Russian videotape, but I don't know why I went that way. It
Okay.
feels-
Okay.
I went-
Okay. Yeah. We'll continue to start with Ralph. Yellow snow.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's a personal issue. I've got an aging miniature dachshund that my ex-wife insisted that we get as a dog. And so Yellow Snow made me think of urine, and urine made me think of now that I have to have the dog when I have the kid. That's the agreement. And this aging dog pissed all over my couch in my area where I like to sit to watch television. And the permeating odor, I think I have to burn the house down. That's how bad the smell is. And so Yellow Snow made me think of dogs peeing, which made me think of how angry I still am 2 days later at what this dog that I never wanted is doing to my home. So it's a personal problem. This is not a good answer. It was my reaction.
No, I do one. Yeah, go ahead, Jamie.
I totally agree with Ralph about the like. We don't have snow here, so it was a childhood thing with my father with dogs. My father hated dogs. I never had one as a kid, but we have one, and he was great. But he's like 18 years old, and so my wife never trained him. So when I'm not home, if she eats and doesn't feed him all of her food before him, he will go to the stove in the kitchen and piss under the stove. He's done it like 10 times. And guess who lives in the garage now? Because I'm like, you picked the one spot.
Your wife?
I can't.
Yeah, that's what I was going to like. I'm going to get
out there. The dog's out there. Both kids are out there. Everybody's out there. I can bolt them all. I know. So he kept pissing under the fucking stove. So every time you put the stove on, you're like, oh, that's right. Max pissed under there. Because I talked to him, I go, buddy, you can't. What are you doing? He kept doing it and doing it and doing it. And now I'm like, I can't have it. I can't have it.
Done. Okay, Jason?
Mine was a joke from Monsters, Inc. because of the snow cones with the abominable snowman. That's kind of what where my head went.
That's good. I love it. And Snoopy
Snow Cone, because last year for Christmas, I actually gave my boys Snoopy. Actually, Santa brought my boys a Snoopy snow cone. And I had one as a kid. And I just it's always like the most, you just sit there and you churn and churn and churn. And it's never quite as good as shaved ice. But then you get to put sometimes you'll pour lemonade on it or whatever. So
or Baileys.
Or Baileys. Or you just say,
kids
you know
sleep
what?
Well. Kids sleep well that night.
This isn't working, guys. So you're just going to chomp on some ice and take a swig of this.
Yeah.
It does take the edge off.
It does.
Yes.
A little Zambuca with it. Nice slippery nipple. Enjoy. Fantastic.
Now, I do have a story for you, Ralph. There was another news story this week. I'm not sure if you saw it, about a house in North Carolina that was infested with snakes, and the people were trying to smoke out the snakes, and they burnt the house down to get rid of the snake infestment. So it's not out of the question that you would burn your house down.
No, here's the thing. My divorce is fairly recent. And I was with my now ex for practically 15 years. And our not agreement, but the way it just worked out was I was primarily the breadwinner, as to use an old fashioned phrase. And she wanted to be a full-time mom, and she took care of the household stuff and everything. And I'm just finding myself floundering a little bit in dealing with house stuff. I'm just not good at it. And I haven't found a way to sort of parcel out my time where I can get stuff done and still get the work done. And it's frustrating to me. And there are literally times where if something goes south and I can't get to it, I just feel like pulling the plug. I just feel like walking away. It's amazing. It's difficult. It's really hard.
It is really hard.
If you're having problems with that, how's your wife dealing with breadwinning? Is she having some issues with the breadwinning department? Now,
in her defense, she took time off she was a very successful career woman until we decided to have kids. And so she has been out of the job market for a decade plus. And now she desperately wants to get back into it. But as a woman of a certain age, with certain requirements and being out of touch to a certain extent, she's having a hard time finding a new job. So everyone's got their struggles when it comes to, co-parenting and divorce and stuff. It opens up a whole new box of problems. But so everyone struggles. But my personal one is trying to maintain a household. I mean, I had the kid for the past 2 days, and literally every meal we had was Grubhubbed. Everything
Yeah.
was delivered because I'm just out of food. I just didn't get around to putting food in my house, so everything was delivered.
My husband and I just recently had a discussion where I was like, I think if you die, I think I'm like really in bad shape. I think I'm going to have a really tough time with that. And I feel like if I die, you just run out of things. That's all there is. Like that's what I'm bringing to this. You're just
That's a
gonna
guy thing.
yeah, you just get like you will not. You'll have to go to 7-Eleven for toilet paper the way you used to when we were dating. You know,
Yeah.
there's not going to be.
$12 a roll.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So I do think
Okay.
it's that. Yeah. Anyway.
I love that perspective. I agree. Okay, next one. You guys ready? Fake tree.
Satan.
Necessity.
Easy.
It me.
What?
It me.
It me.
It me.
Okay, we're gonna go with Satan first. Ralph, I'm proud of you. You're staying on your streak.
No, it's gotta be a live tree. Listen, I'm gonna drop some truth on you people right now.
Okay.
Studies have been done.
Yeah.
Ecologically,
Yes.
fake trees do more damage to the environment than real trees do. By the manufacturing, by the shipping from China to get to your stores, the real trees, they grow them in farms just for the purpose of selling at Christmas time, and they're absorbing CO2 and exuding oxygen at the time, and you get the smell in your home. You get the true feeling and senses of Christmas at the time. The real tree is the only way to go. Santa, real tree; Satan, fake tree.
Okay.
I like it. I actually didn't know that, so I feel like I'm a little bit educated.
I would like to put an asterisk on that fact, though. I think they say that is true unless you use the fake tree. Like it's something like 20. If you plan on using the fake tree for like 20 years, that is like the offset point. Like you can. So if you use a real tree every year, or if you have a fake tree that you use for like 20 plus years, then I think it's, if I remember correctly, that's the offset point. But still, who's using a fake tree for 20 years? I don't know.
That's my point.
Necessity. Yeah. Jason, you said necessity.
Yeah, so we tried it the first year the twins were mobile, and there was a whole lot of live needle eating that was becoming an issue. So
Children are feral, then that's the problem.
They are straight up savage, Ralph, in every way. They're basically capuchin monkeys, and that's what they are. And so we, out of the safety of their behinds, and to save us from a call from Child Protective Services, got a fake tree, which has served us for these years when they're in the needle eating phase of life.
Okay, fair enough.
I have never in my life had a real tree.
Oh,
wow. You said easy. So
I gotta go.
A lot of years. So my we had
my agent's calling. I gotta go.
Oh, really? That's
weird. It's a late night gig.
Oh, wow.
You have a lemon tree, Jamie. Why not a Christmas tree?
You can give me for older guy who's never had a real tree. But when I was a kid, we had the exact same tree in a box. We had the same box.
Yeah.
My entire life, from first memory to when I left college. Like it got to the point where it was a dowel with holes drilled in it.
Yeah.
And they originally, like, the bottom row had red around the thing, and then the next one was green or something. You couldn't tell any of the colors. It was like some Mensa puzzle where you were like, I think it goes like this. You were sticking them in, and they were like, I mean, it was like that. But
did Jeff Probst offer you immunity if you could put the tree together?
Right? From what though?
I had that my entire life.
You want to go to Redemption Island during Christmas?
They put my fire out. It was weird. It got weird. And then I bought a fake one when we first bought this house 12 years ago, and we have had the same exact tree every year for 12 years, and it like flips, and then all the branches just fall into place, and then the next piece goes on and it falls into place. It's fine, dude. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't.
So the
why do I
cycle
want
of
a real
abuse
tree?
that you had as a child, you're continuing on
Yeah.
with your children,
Mhm.
apparently.
Break the cycle, Kaler.
Just let's
Yeah.
say if I was in the 1860s, no one would really understand my abuse, and I wouldn't have any
Right.
medicine that would
That's
help
true.
me
Right. I
overcome
mean, and that's
my
tragic right there.
Christmas.
I
Lived on a ranch in
You
Glass
also
half
Yellowstone.
full.
know about fake trees. You wouldn't be able to take a poll or an Insta vote about fake trees versus real trees.
Good point.
You know,
Okay,
if I had
Kate-
an ingrown hair, I could die from a staph infection. It was a weird time in history.
So
And
weird.
you've only got 8 years before it ecologically balances out.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Okay, Kate. Me. I
It
don't
me.
understand.
Yeah, well, I got to
Mhm.
tell you, I was Team Ralph until this very year.
Oh,
We always had a real tree. There is nothing like the smell of a real tree.
right?
But part of the problem is that this year I felt very we're leaving. Like we didn't leave last year. We didn't leave the last couple of years. So I knew we were going to get a real tree on Thanksgiving weekend, and we were going to have to drag it back out of our house 17 days later because we have to get the live tree out of your house when you go away for 2 weeks. And I felt like, oh, I just don't want to decorate it just to undecorate. Like there's also something so sad about coming home from a trip and being like, the boys have school tomorrow and there's no tree in here. I hate that I did it, but I got a fake tree, and I'm just going to use it on the years that we travel. If we don't travel, I will go back to real trees.
I mean, let's be honest. It's not a fake tree. It's made of wood. There's a
No,
dowel. out
mine's
there.
There's a
definitely
dowel.
not.
Use me?
At one point,
Mine's-
it was a tree. At one point,
No, it was a piece of steel at one point, I believe.
not my middle one.
I mean,
but
if
the
it's
dowel.
23 and me comes back, there's going to be a percentage of tree.
And Thomas Jefferson was definitely in the lineage somewhere. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I
No,
feel
okay.
dirty. You guys made me feel dirty about
It's
my
mostly plastic. And by the way, Christmas trees are not recyclable. So there you go,
Yeah.
Jamie Kaler.
Well, the ones you're doing aren't recyclable. The real trees aren't recyclable.
Yeah,
Ah,
back
Some
but
people
yeah.
plant
even
them
if you
again.
incinerate them, they
Jamie, I
leave
would.
less of a footprint carbon-wise than a fake tree does.
Yeah.
Dude, please.
I don't
with
feel
stuff
like you
coming
wanna
out of China. We're all going extinct in 50 years anyway. What's the point? Just enjoy your fake tree and move on.
Enjoy it.
Forget about
Okay, we got two more word associations.
Oh, okay. Hold on. a minute.
That's it. So let's hang in there. Here's the next one. Ready?
Mhm.
Midnight.
Alive.
Quiet.
Asleep.
mass.
Oh, Christ.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Okay, Ralph.
Wow.
Let's do
You
the
know, I
live.
have a mass on my liver, so pray for me at midnight.
Oh,
Pray for that's sorry. I don't know what you guys thought I was talking about, but
I can't change my clock. Whatever it is, my internal clock is, whether it's from years of bartending as a struggling actor or doing theater or whatever it is, but my best time is around midnight. That's when I feel most alive and I'm at my most sharp, and I like functioning at that time. And having spent many years in morning radio where I had to get up at 4:30, 5 o'clock to haul my ass into a radio station to work from 5:30, 6 o'clock to noon, it was pure hell because I never was able to get over the fact that around midnight is when I really hit my stride. And parenthood didn't change that, and no career has changed that. I still feel most alive at around midnight.
I love that. Love it. Okay, Jason, you said quiet.
It is the only time in the house that you can guarantee that all of my spawn are resting and asleep. So it is the only
Spawn?
time they're.
I
I-
have
I
a
Ralph, you
vision
may
of
have guarded this,
of
but I'm
a
struggling with
spaceship.
parenthood.
You know
Things
what, Jason?
crawling through the ductwork. I don't know what's happening in your house.
I
Like
agree
gremlins.
because I feel like between like 11 and like 3, you could basically like run a marching band through my house and no one would wake up. But that like 4:35 to 6:30 window, it's like the slightest sound you make could definitely wake up all 4 children, you
Mm.
know? So midnight is a good time for everyone to be asleep. Okay, Jamie.
wait, hold
you
on,
said
Claire.
asleep.
Are you awake at midnight, Claire?
No, heck no. Not for
Okay,
years.
I am.
I used to tend bar, and so but I can swap it. Like I can shift my schedule if I want
Oh,
to.
you
When I'm
lucky
doing
bastard.
stand up, I can stay up late. I still kind of get up early. I'm always an early riser. This
Mhm.
past week, I actually worked on a movie, and I shot 2 nights. I haven't done night shoots in years and years and years, and so I had to go in at 8, shoot till 4 in the morning, came home, got up at 6:15, and took my kids to school 2 straight days in a row. And I was like on fumes. I was
I
like,
did night shoots for
talking
my
and
last
everything.
Lifetime movie, and I was like, I am too old for this.
Yeah, I got the same.
I
But when
can't
I used to
do
do,
it.
if I do stand up, I can trigger it over. Actually, you know what's funny? I kind of if I have a drink or two, wide awake. Like that's why I like blow was never my jam because I didn't need it. I'm kind of the Irish Catholic guy who's like if I don't drink at all, 8:15 I'm down hard, like sound asleep. But if I have a couple pops and all of a sudden we're bantering, I'm like, people are like, what happened last night? I go, I went home by 10. They go, no, you didn't. No, you were here about 3:15 in the morning. You're like, what?
And that's where the blow comes in. Then you're
Yeah.
there till
I didn't need
noon.
the blow.
Yes.
I didn't need the blow. Apparently, is
You
what
know-
Well, you
you
did
quit.
because you
You did.
stopped at 3:15.
Yeah. Everybody
You
else
know,
went till
I-
noon. You quit.
That's right.
before
I was
this-
buying brunch for everybody because I was all hopped up on
Yeah.
nose candy.
Okay.
That's a really important point, Jamie. When people are like, "Oh, you were out, you were so wasted," it's like, well, yeah, of course, I didn't come to play bingo. I'm not here to like play
Yeah.
Monopoly.
Yeah.
I'm
truly.
out of my house. Don't tell me something I already know.
I get my money's worth out of those drinks. Just know that.
Exactly.
There's nothing worse than
Right.
the guy who's really good with his alcohol who goes, "Oh, I had 20 beers, I didn't feel anything." That sucks for you, brother. You need
Yeah,
something.
what a waste of money.
That's a waste of money.
All right.
Hard
Kate,
drink,
you
hard
said
drinks.
Mass. Mass.
I did say mass. Yes, I'm a recovering Catholic these days, but we used to go to the church. Actually, I ended up getting married in is this Irish Catholic church in Chicago called Old St. Pat's, and midnight mass on Christmas Eve was always really pretty there. They would have all the lights off in the church, and like they would start with 2 candles, and everybody would light the candles, and it was really pretty.
I love that.
Also, Jesus is the raisin for the season.
Oh, for God's
It is.
sakes.
Okay.
Put the Christ back in Christmas.
Last one. Ready, guys? Here we go. Disclaimer.
I love this game.
Last one. Die Hard.
Not a Christmas movie. That's
Oh,
the
really,
worst.
Ralph?
Not.
Crazy.
Not.
Totally a Christmas movie.
Totally not.
It's totally a Christmas film, dude.
No, it simply isn't.
I'm confused by. Of course, it
Girls, you're both the prettiest.
Released in July,
Okay.
not about Christmas.
is. It's all about Christmas. You're not digging deep enough.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not
Alexander
looking-
Goodenough as a young Chris Kringle. You don't see the analogy of the whole
I'm
thing.
not looking into
No.
these Bruce
Hans
Willis over
Gruber.
to find the truest meaning of his work.
Gruber
Good
is the-
point.
Is the lead elf? You don't get it. I don't know. It just makes me laugh. I associate it now with a Christmas movie, but I don't know. Die Hard.
Right. My association- my
Jason.
Yeah, I would say it, not me. It, not me. And I'll
It, not
explain why.
me.
It, not me.
I second that. It, not me.
It, not me.
Not me. Jason.
I'm struggling for a word.
What you're looking for is not.
Not.
It's a great movie, though. I mean, we can agree on that.
It is a great
Absolutely.
movie.
Love the film. It's a great
Yeah.
action film.
Fantastic.
Absolutely not a
Jamie
Christmas
coming in
movie.
for the like, hey, but let's salvage something about this.
Hey, but let's reach across the aisle, huh? Come on.
Right? Like he's let's send him to Washington, okay? Shall we?
It's set
Um,
during a Christmas party only, says Freddie B. Ha,
It
ha.
absolutely has Christmas as its backdrop. I will not deny that, but it is not. That does not make it a Christmas movie.
Well, so then what about Home Alone?
Home Alone is a Christmas movie,
It's just Christmas as a backdrop.
Yeah, Christmas is a backdrop.
but that entire house is decorated for Christmas. The reason the kids alone is Christmas. That it's part of the plot.
Yeah, it's part of the theme. I would agree with that. I
Die
agree
Hard
with
could
that.
happen at any other social event at any other time of the year, and that movie wouldn't change one iota.
Yeah, you could throw that in Arbor Day, and we'll still get most.
Oh my God! I gotta go see my ex-wife because they're having a 4th of July party at her workplace. That they set that up, and it's the same exact movie.
Well,
Agreed.
Elf is just a workplace comedy about a bunch of people who work in a shop.
Good
Yeah.
point. but he was
Yeah.
raised by elves at the North Pole.
Alright,
It's
fine, I'll
the
give you that one.
opening sequence that's a callback to the claymation of like the original. What was
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Rankin and
Whatever.
Bass.
And the
Yes,
climax
those
is
are the best.
entirely centered around Christmas spirit.
Well, can we venture out there? Because I actually, one of my topics today was telling people what's your go-to Christmas movies then for you or for you and the kids.
It's funny how it's changed. For
If
me,
he says Die Hard, I'm going to be so confused.
all I want to watch is Die Hard of this.
Die
time of
Hard
year.
2. Die Hard
It's
2.
the Christmas movie, really, for me. No, here's the
Die
thing.
Hard 2 in an airport. It evokes Christmas feelings.
When I was
Um,
raised as a kid, it wasn't about Christmas movies. That wasn't a thing. We had Christmas TV shows. We had The
Right.
Grinch and we had Rudolph. Basically, that was my
God.
Charlie
Yes.
Brown. Yep.
fuck Charlie Brown.
Okay.
Peanuts, The Strip, and the television programs. Never funny once, not once.
That's
Just
true.
stop calling them a comic strip. They're not comic. They may have been stripped. Don't start me on Peanuts. That's a whole nother show. So angry.
When Lucy says he shouldn't have trusted him because the letter wasn't notarized, that's pretty good. Come on.
You don't like Charles Schultz, is what you're saying.
No, I don't. But that's
You're a
besides the point.
Schultzist.
Here's the thing, though. So television for me meant Christmas. However, my mother, when I was very young, took me to the theaters to see and then there's a million Scrooge movies out there, Christmas Carol movies out there. But she and I went on a matinee to go see a musical version of A Christmas Carol starring Albert Finney. It's a British film. And the music was written by Leslie Bricusse, who was a partner of Anthony Newley for many years. And it's called Scrooge. And it's the big budget musical version of A Christmas Carol.
Okay.
That for me is my go-to Christmas movie. Because of my mom and my connection to it and the music in that, it's a brilliant Christmas memory for me. So that's my film.
That's lovely.
It's a good one. Christmas Carol still is. Yeah, there's so many. Do you like the Scrooge one with Bill Murray?
Yeah, of course. It's great. But for me, like my childhood is rooted in that memory of going to that theater with my mother. And especially now that she's gone, it's just like, that's the thing for me that grounds me at that time of year. But for my kid, it's Kurt Russell as Santa Claus in the Christmas Chronicles
Oh, right.
on Netflix.
Right, yeah.
That's like,
The
she's like,
kids love
we
that.
have to watch Christmas Chronicles this year. I was like, really? Okay. I'll let you have your thing. I got mine.
Yeah.
I feel like Elf is like the #1 Christmas movie now.
I think it is.
It
for
definitely
most
is
people.
up there, yeah, for sure.
It's so good. I'm such a fan of Elf, but I don't know. I had to go control my boys for a second. But Christmas Vacation. I mean, come on.
Oh,
That
yeah.
is like the best ever
it's
movie.
classic.
Also in my top 10. And such a great movie that my whole family loves and bonds. My family that I grew up with, my sister, my mom, my dad, that my sister actually named her son Clark. And it was not
Your Griswold?
it was part a nod to Clark Griswold because my dad, who's passed away, loved Clark Griswold, loved that character so much. And also my mom's maiden name was Clark. So it was kind of like a twofer, but it was really more of it's convenient that my mom's maiden name was Clark because the Clark is really a nod to Clark Griswold. And
Whoa.
I watch it at least 4 or 5 times every Christmas. Same with Elf, though.
It's
Yes.
a good one.
Yes.
This was
Hans
my
Gruber says A Christmas Story. Yeah, absolutely. Right. They run it
Oh, yeah.
nonstop, like on TNT. Right. It's
Yeah,
like
24 hours, yeah.
Here's the thing. Little Ralphie, of course, is in Christmas Story.
yes.
And my name is Ralph, but I'm actually a junior. My father's name was Ralph, and he's exactly the same age as the character in Christmas Story was in that film. And also his entire Christmas that year wanted the Red Ryder BB
Yeah.
gun. So that movie also has a big resonance for me and my family because my dad used to watch and go, it's like they're telling my story. This is ridiculous.
That's awesome.
That's funny.
I from my own childhood, really, it wasn't even my childhood. I was probably a little too old to like it, which means I'm definitely too old to like it now. But Muppets Christmas Carol for me.
Oh, it's a
it's a great
classic.
movie. It's a
No,
great
that
movie.
transcends.
Michael Caine, like it's just like I don't know. And Gonzo is Charles Dickens, and I don't know. And Rizzo, I don't know. They're just, I love it. Love that version.
I'm with Ralph. It was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman, the Grinch. It was TV, and you couldn't record back then.
Well, okay, so I did have them on
You had
VHS.
one shot.
Yeah, if it was on at 8:00 on Thursday night,
It's like the
on December
Eminem song.
14th,
One
you better
shot.
be in front of your TV December 14th at 8:00. Yeah,
If you missed it, it was 12 months until you.
it was 12 more months. We're like, shit, I missed it.
We used to have them all on VHS. Actually, we would tape them. So like my version of the Grinch growing up was like it was like vacation, like us being on vacation, not like.
What was it like to be rich, Kate?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Millennial spoiled girl. Fine. Tell us more.
Okay. And then it says beheading of Saddam Hussein. We had weird. And then it would be like, no, but all of the Christmas movies like Rudolph, whenever I can tell you what commercials came in 1986 when we recorded it.
Oh, Ronald McDonald skating on the pond.
Yes.
The year I finished college. Is that what you're talking about, Kate? Yeah.
Yeah, those are good times.
That is not true, Jamie. Come on.
You didn't finish
Jamie,
college.
we're
in
so
86.
old.
You didn't finish college, period. Well, it definitely wasn't in the 80s. I know. Okay. When
No
did
reason
you
to be
graduate?
mean about stuff.
You were
But we should also can we jump? By the way, Claire told me she wanted to do a word association. I was like, fantastic. I love that. I think that's
Yeah, it was super fun.
I didn't ask. Did you guys
Claire
like it?
Kramer,
Would love
everyone.
any
Loved it.
audience like it? Please
Yeah, loved
in with your comments. if
because
you
it's like it
that.
evokes these memories, of like because I did grow up in snow. When you said yellow snow, my first thought was like, yeah, I'm never seeing yellow snow again because I'm done with the snow.
Done with snow.
I can take some pictures for you, Jamie. No worries.
My father was a lunatic about the purity of the snow. Like we had an acre in New Hampshire or whatever, and he would go out with his ski mobile boots and make little tracks around the yard. And if you couldn't walk out of the tracks because he didn't want to see footprints in his little postcard. So you had to go, if you were going around the house, you had to go in the little tracks he made.
Did you take the monorail to the main
You had to
street?
take the monorail.
Definitely neurodivergent.
That's
Oh,
three,
man.
baby. That's three. We
He
hit
hated
all
dogs,
three.
man. My father hated dogs. He hated them because they would, if they crapped in the yard or something, he'd lose his mind.
It probably was fun being a kid in that house, huh?
Listen,
lot
if
of
it were
good
the
times.
1860s, without my medicine, I'd be in serious trouble.
I mean, there is a bit to unpack about the Kaler home. Yeah, there's
Oh,
a
Yeah.
bit.
Sounds like things were a little tightly wound there in the Kaler household.
They were. Herb was tightly wound. Let's just put it that way.
Herb likes that smooth snow. I can imagine he
Claire-
likes them clean rooms.
Claire,
You know what I mean?
Can we talk about your new addition to the house that happened, or is that
Me?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I thought you said no. Yes?
So, well, we can talk about it.
In general terms.
We got the kids.
You got a gremlin.
Okay, so let me start by saying
Christmas movie, by the way. Gremlin.
Agreed.
Christmas, definitely a Christmas movie. Definitely like the Gremlins are it like a metaphor for all the toys.
Exactly.
Like, and then the toys like attack you.
Yes.
Anyway, we unfortunately 5 years ago, my family adopted 2 dogs from the shelter. And unfortunately, in the last 3 months, we lost both of them very young. They were 5. They were litter mates.
Wow.
Little
Oh, that's so hard.
natural chihuahuas. And the first died woke up one morning the night before she was fine. 6 days later, she was dead. And from this weird autoimmune disease, sudden onset autoimmune thing. And then the second one, 2 months later, started exhibiting weird behavior. And I kept taking her into the vet and being like, what's going on? I don't understand. No, it's not this. Da, da, da. She passed away as well. So for Christmas, the kids' grandparents got them a puppy, which is it's very cute.
Stop.
Oh
it.
my God.
This
the
is-
cutest dog of all time.
It's the cutest dog of all time. This is Ranger. Ranger is an Australian Shepherd miniature blue merle, which I guess means he has blue eyes. So he is, in this picture, he's 8 weeks old. That's last week when we got him. He's 9 weeks old now. The grandparents drove him out from Texas and we met them at the California border.
Oh,
And the kids, we surprised the kids with the dog. So
Oh my lord.
this
Did you know the dog was? Did you know the dog was coming, or was it just gifted to you?
Well, I knew the dog was coming. I did. It was also a gift, which is very generous of them because
Sure.
the dog was not
Were you asked if it's okay if we give you a dog?
well, yes. And I said,
Okay.
of course. Yes.
Herb wants to know. Herb wants to know this.
Well, I'm
But-
saying
Herb's
that
gonna walk that is
dog-
freshly fallen snow.
the dog I'm taking care of right now, Max, who likes to piss
Right.
under the stove, was a gift from a
Oh.
boyfriend who thought, we're it's not working. Maybe if I give her a dog, it'll keep the relationship alive.
Wait, your
Mm.
wife's ex-boyfriend?
You're the stepdad?
He didn't give.
Wait a minute, this is the dog that pissed in your mouth?
Yes.
That pissed-
That's a whole different
I'm
story.
sorry,
The dog
urinates
the dog
under
pissed in my
the
mouth one time.
stove? This one?
So he had given her. They were
Mystery
dating.
solved,
They were dating, they were
Jamie.
on the rocks, and so he gifted her a dog. Guys do this, right? And they this is my big gripe with gifting of a dog. It has
So
to
you're
be-
raising her bastard dog? Your
This is
wife's
what I'm
bastard
saying.
dog?
You're the stepdad.
It's like
I'm
Les Miserables.
I'm
It's
dog
all
stepdad.
put together right
Max
next.
is stepdad.
Too, so yikes.
I am Max's stepdad. That's absolutely true, and I
Wow.
basically take care of him. So I mean,
Oh
the
my
two of
gosh.
us are
No,
relevant.
so Ranger is the dog. I think I put up the tree today. My mom came over. She helped me because I was like, this weekend I'm in a dance tournament with River, and the boys are at a soccer tournament. They're in San Diego. I'm in Anaheim. The following weekend, the boys play in Vegas at a national tournament. So I was like, if I don't get some Christmas decorations up today, it's not even happening. And of course, my youngest is like, where's the elf? What's happening with the elf? Why isn't the elf out? What, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, before I really lose my patience, I want to get things up. So she came over today and we put the tree up amongst other things. And I think I'm going to have to get a baby gate for around the tree because the puppy will not stop gnawing on the tree branches
course.
and the tree skirt and like getting in the presents that
It's
are
like
already-
Jason's kids.
That's
just
what I was
eating
just
all
gonna
the
say. It
needles.
sounds like my kids, yeah.
Well, what do I do, Jason? What do I get?
Yeah, that we had to do a baby gate and a sedative.
Okay.
Actually,
Like
you know
for the
what?
month?
I can send Claire over because this is totally non sequitur, but it's similar. Is that so? We got Claire a desk for her birthday or for
He is
Christmas.
so
rather.
cute.
She got a new desk, and 20 minutes later, her sister has a desk on the other side of the room, and this is 20 minutes later. She built a
Yeah.
wall
Yeah, Claire. That's it.
around her desk.
She
And
was
by the
worried
way,
Hannah was going to start gnawing on the legs.
Yes.
she pinned pictures onto the top of the toy bin there. You can see right
I
Yeah.
know that's nice.
there. So
Personalized.
she's great at wall building around around her stuff.
Actually, you just gave me an idea. The kids have those big Legos. I think if I could stand to look at it, I could build a Lego barrier.
And Mexico will pay for it, okay? We're going to build a wall around the Christmas tree to keep Ranger out.
It'll be
And Ranger's
fun.
going to pay for it, okay?
But it's scarily good, Ralph. I'm shocked.
Scares myself.
We went an hour and 8 minutes before Ralph did an impression.
Yeah.
Ralph, I'm so
Yeah.
disappointed.
That may be a record for any show I've ever been on in the last
Shocked.
15
I
years.
kept waiting for them to come out. I'm like, where are they?
So,
You talked
Jamie,
about
do you
Dead
have
Sinatra.
Do you have the TikTok of River doing the TikTok?
I do.
That's just my baby dog. 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 That's just my baby dog.
Was that me or was that your? I'm sorry, I couldn't.
1 million. How many views? 1 jillion views?
I haven't checked, but my life is also about TikToks right now because 3 of my kids I have allowed. Well, actually, I haven't allowed any of them to set up accounts, but they did it all behind my back on my phone because none of them are allowed phones. So
like that.
it's very limited access, but they all have these TikTok accounts, and yeah, it's about the baby dog.
It's also about the fact she could put her leg.
Oh, that is yeah. We'll do a dance episode at some point. We'll
Oh,
talk.
can I come back?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
good.
Yes. Wouldn't it be funny if our kids knew each other, Ralph?
It would be.
Is your daughter a dancer, the 11-year-old?
She is. She's a performer, but not so much a dancer. She likes to sing and act.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
that one who you just saw is the 11-year-old. So she is.
Wow.
Ralph, I put out today that you were going to do the show, and I said, "Hey, anybody have any topics or questions?" And Freddie, who's a huge fan of yours and one of your followers,
Army members. Yeah, he's a good man.
Freddie B. Yeah, he's the best. I did shows in Arizona. He came out. He's awesome. We love him. But he said to talk to you about kids in sports.
Oh yeah.
Lately. So here's what happened this weekend. My daughter finished 8 teams made the playoffs. She lost in the first round. And they didn't seem to care that, like, the coaches and I wanted to put our fist through a wall. We lost by like 1 goal. We were super upset. The kids were like, "Where's our snack?" They didn't care until we got in the car. And then Hannah was like, "Oh my God, Dad, I'm pretty sure we were supposed to get a trophy." And I go, "Trophy? What are you talking about?" She goes, I think we get a trophy. And I said, you lost in the first round. You finished like 8th. I'm confused. And she goes, "Oh, I thought we were promised trophies." And I feel like that's where sports is going nowadays, where everybody's like, I was like, I think you have to win to get a trophy. She's like, "No, I don't think you do."
It is for kids. That's true. And I don't want to sound like, some boomer, but I think that's at their detriment that they think that is going to be an automatic. I think you have to learn to accept failure and defeat, because there's going to be a shit ton of that in your future. And if you always expect some sort of reward for not performing up to standards, that's not a good thing.
They're going to show up to job interviews like, "I was promised a job." They're like, "No, you were promised an interview."
Yeah.
Jamie, didn't one of your
I'll take
girls?
the job now. I'll take the job now. Thank you.
Jamie, didn't one of your girls flip shit because they were supposed to get 6 eggs in an egg hunt and she only got 4?
She did for Easter. I picked her up from school and she was just like beside herself and sobbed. And I was like, "Claire, what happened?" She goes, they told me I was going to get 6 eggs, but I only found 4. And I was like, "What?" She goes, "I only got 4 eggs. They told me I would get 6. Like they had allotted out, like you would get 6 eggs
per kid."
And she didn't get her 6 eggs per kid. And she was like, obviously some kid went home and go, 8 eggs, Jack.
Yeah.
He took 2 more eggs. And he was
I'm going to eBay these 2 other eggs to make a profit.
But Claire was, she was beside her. I had to like hold her. She was like, "I was told I would get 6 eggs." And she didn't get, didn't get the eggs.
So,
and I'm the same as you, Ralph. I'm like, I think you guys are going to have a tough time in the real world because it's not really very easy. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm lucky because my kid is pretty even keeled. And there's this big event in her school where the 6th grade girls put on a championship flag football game against another school's 6th grade girls, and they play this flag football game. And so they gave the opportunity for any 6th grader to step up and try out for quarterback. And my kid's got a pretty good spiral and a pretty good arm, so she tried out. And they didn't choose her to be the quarterback. And she came back and was like, "Oh, it's okay. I'm still playing. I'll go out there and I'll catch a ball. I'll be tight end or I'll be wide receiver or something." So she's remarkably even keeled. I'm a little bit blessed in that area. But me personally, I'm like you, Jamie. I was furious because I worked with this kid for the past weekend running patterns and running routes, and she's ready to go. And no, she didn't make it. So sports are hard with kids.
Listen, if it's anything like the movie Ladybug, then Jonathan Brandis is going to be the quarterback in a wig. I'm just going to
a
say.
movie
That's
that would
probably
not
what's
be
gonna
made
happen.
nowadays.
Claire is dealing with 4 kids. River's like a nationally ranked dancer. The 2 boys are like soccer phenom. She's
the
traveling
boys
around the
are-
country.
Well, actually, the boys are both nationally ranked also for soccer and futsal. They play both.
And what now?
The futsal is the reason I got them into futsal is
Bless you.
it's
You made that
indoor soccer.
Indoor
but
soccer.
It's on a court. It's with a size 3 ball, and there's no hands at all. Unless you're the goalie. There's no throw in. If it's out of bounds, you kick it in, and there's a 4-second rule to kick it in. So it's very, very, and it's 2 20-minute halves. So it's extremely fast paced. It's extremely based on like footwork. But the reason, they're both in the LAFC training program. So they're training 4 days a week, 90 minutes a day with LAFC. The 5th day a week, they train in Santa Barbara for futsal. And then they play tournament. They play either LAFC or futsal on the weekends.
Are you just in your car all the time driving them around?
Well, their dad obviously is he understands soccer way more than I do. So he's kind of like the driver most of the time. But what I was going to say is, especially with the LAFC training program, they are not easy on these kids. They make one mistake on the field, they pull them out. But you watch these games with these 9-year-olds and 8-year-olds, and it honestly is like watching a very good high school game. You know what I mean? Not college level, but extremely good.
They need to get better then to be up to college level. In my opinion,
I mean, they do really.
They need to work harder.
But there's things like, we had a thing recently with one of the boys where the coach was like, you're not. What did he say? He was like, you're being an average player. You're not being, and my son was like really crushed. He was like, why am I'm not average. I'm in the LAFC training program. I train 6 days a week, 7 days a week, 2 hours a day. And the coach, they don't pull any punches at this level. You know what I mean? So we actually have the kids in a park program so they can feel good about themselves, because the dads are all like, oh yeah, you guys are amazing, because they get beat down a lot. And the culture, it's a very Latino culture, soccer, and they are coached often in Spanish, and they're often, the culture is just non-forgiving with mistakes, where our culture, the white culture, is very much like, hey, like a trophy for everyone and everybody wins. And that is not what's happening at the higher level of sports.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I love that when they are, they feel beaten down in this league, and you're like, hey, if you want, you can go over to the shitty league and just beat the crap out of these kids. And you'll feel great about yourself.
You can play for fun and actually enjoy yourself and make other kids feel bad, and then go back to
scored 22 goals. I destroyed that kid. Do you see the kid crying in a fetal position over there? I humiliated that.
I did that.
Boom, right there, Jack.
You know what? They've taken, with that team, and that team, they're so close in age that when they play for the rec programs or the AYSO, they are on the same team age-wise. Whereas in club, one's born in 2012, one's born in 2013, so they're on different teams. So when they pair up and they're on the AYSO teams, they're like completely killing it. But they've both taken leadership roles of like, Hart will pass directly to let someone else score. You know what I mean?
Oh,
He's taken a role of like, I want to help you guys win.
He's the Ted Lasso of his team, if you will.
Actually, no, he's the Roy Kent.
Oh,
yeah.
Ted doesn't play. I don't know if you've watched the show, Ralph. He's just the coach.
Oh, fucking hell. I'm Roy fucking Kent. I don't want to be shit.
Roy fucking Kent.
Yeah.
Actually, I've had parents multiple times at these games come up to me and be like, he's like a Roy Kent. I'm like, thank you.
You're like, okay, the chest hair is a little premature. Yes, but I mean, what am I
My
supposed to
eyebrow's
do?
fucking mental. My
Stop
eyebrow's
standing up
mental.
and yelling at the park
Boy.
games. And I'm like, I can't help it. It's so stressful,
Yeah.
Meanwhile, over here, I'm just trying to teach my twins not to eat pine needles like raccoons.
Yeah.
If there was only a league.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of raccoons, that you think that this is what you would think a raccoon would look like opening a bag of chips, but this is what my daughter, this is how my daughter Hannah opened a bag of chips.
So the spout's gone now?
The
she
spout's
took
gone.
the spout wasn't enough. She couldn't get them out fast enough, so that's how she opened it.
Wow.
Actually,
I'd like to call that a Hannah entry.
I go, Hannah. That's how she grabbed her snacks for school. That's how she got chips out of the bag right there.
I gotta tell you, I feel like me again.
I'm gonna call that a mulligan. Actually, I'm gonna
think
call
I
that
could
the
just-
mulligan.
Sometimes
Take a
I don't
mulligan on
know.
that one.
If you know you're gonna finish the bag, it doesn't matter what you do to it.
It's a giant bag. It's like a family-sized bag. And
Yeah, if I repeat, if you know, if you know, I repeat, if you know you're gonna finish the bag.
Hey, speaking of which, this has gone insanely long and super fun. And I'm going to tell you how my week's going. My wife is in Texas at a work trip.
Well, that's what my pictures
and this is what this is the photo she sent to us to go, hey,
Yes.
I'm at a work trip.
Yes.
Enjoying life.
Yeah.
And so I tried to take a picture to send her back to go, hey, I'm with the kids. And this is the photo that I took with the
Yes.
kids. And so this is my wife's week. And this is my week. And I don't think any of the pictures ever shown.
Not like the other.
Do you guys have my pictures or no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So if you could pick up that there's one of me in on a stage. So I was Jamie's wife this week. I got to do this big event. I was gone for 4 days. Actually, Ralph's buddy Kevin Smith participates in this.
Shut up.
Yeah, Kevin Smith's part of it. Actually,
did Ralph know this?
I don't know. Do you know, Ralph? Do you know about the movie Trivia Schmodown that Kevin does now?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm part of that, and so anyway, the big spectacular was this weekend. So I was downtown from Thursday through Sunday, and if you could pull up the picture of the elliptical, I was staying at the Los Angeles Athletic Club. They when I checked in, they said, "Oh, we just upgraded you to the fitness suite," and I walked into my room, and I felt so attacked. They saw me, and they're like, you should definitely work out while you're here.
Sweat off a few pounds while you're in the room.
We're gonna help you. We're gonna put.
Are you sure they didn't just put a cot in the gym? It feels like. I mean, were other people walking in and going, "Oh, you're using it? Never mind." I mean,
I feel like that's a made up. Like, did they make that room that day for you? Like,
they're like,
fitness suite.
Mulligan's coming. I'm telling you, it felt like I felt very triggered by
was this?
This was in LA. My guy was competing for the Star Wars trivia belt of the world, right? For the movie Trivia Schmodown. So I knew that he was going to need me. We were running buzzers on Thursday night. We were doing speed round questions on Friday. So I was like, I'm not going to go back and forth from Burbank. I'm going to put myself up. I'm going to have a weekend away from the kids. And then there's another picture of the swimming pool. Do you have that picture, Jason?
I do.
Look at this swimming pool.
That's nice.
And by the way, you're eating breakfast right next to it because I was
on the other side of your suite. Is that on the other side of the suite?
This is they put me. This is
you in the pool room.
Yeah,
that's the bathtub.
Just to orient you guys. So the elliptical's off to the right here, right?
Gotcha.
Here, so,
Got it.
But anyway, it was like a super fun weekend, and then I got to meet. He's not. Oh, here he is. He just showed up. Our great friend of the show, Jobo. There he is. Finally met Jobo. Jobo is. Let me tell you something. Joe, friend of the show. When I saw him, it was probably 11 on Sunday, 11:30, and he was like, I went to bed. He was like, I went to bed at 5:30 and I woke up at 8:30 just so I could start drinking again. I was like, yeah, Jobo, we're different people. I can't do that anymore. So anyway, Joe, I see you're here. You showed up just in time, Jobo.
Well, listen, I could do this all night, Ralph. It's so funny. I was like, Ralph, do you want to come in at 7:10? He's like, I thought you started at 7. And I was like, you can leave whenever you want. It's like, nah, I'll stick around as long as the Jack's flowing.
That's right. As long as I still have Jack Daniels, I'm good to go.
Here's the funny thing, too.
You were coming back.
I told you midnight is my time. I thought
I know.
You're ramping
I haven't
up
hit my
right now.
stride yet.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
The funny thing is Ralph, who does the show, he has a partner there. Well, not a partner, but a cohort, maybe, Eddie Pence, who comes to do it with him, who's fantastic, super funny comic.
Yes.
Here's the Ralph Report. It's on Patreon. How do people find it? RalphReport.com, I believe.
You can go there, or you just go right to patreon.com/The Ralph Report if you want to sign up.
And
Monday through
his is
Friday, brand new
actually
show.
a tightly scripted comedic daily show. It's pretty
an
great.
hour and change. It's basically a morning show. If you're
great.
familiar with morning radio shows, only we do it via Patreon. It's a morning show podcast, and we have a blast. It's a good time.
It's pretty great. Tons of super celebrity interviews, lots of funny business stuff. But I felt it was funny because I asked you to come do this, and you're like, "What?" And it goes, "We really just shoot the shit. It's just us talking about parenting, getting away from stuff." So thank you.
I was like, "What do I have to prep? What do I need to write? Do we need to come up with something?"
It was like, "What do I need to
I didn't know
prep?"
Claire was going to do all the work.
Yeah.
so
I don't understand the question.
I mean, to be fair, the lack of impressions really brought you down a little bit. We expected a little bit.
I'm sorry
but
that I didn't do enough impressions for you.
I think he was
Jamie
good.
Kale.
I think he was good.
Yeah, we snuck him in at the very end.
Actually, could I request, Ralph? Can I make a request of you? The one
All
time,
depends, I guess, young lady.
Yeah.
Put that back up. Put that back up, will you? The website there. Yeah, that's
Oh,
great.
that's
Leave
good.
that there.
There you go.
I hear you have a good Pacino, and I got to tell you that the one and only time I ever met him, it was after the Merchant of Venice. My best friend had been playing opposite him on Broadway, the Merchant of Venice. It was a rap party happening in a bowling alley, and
Sure.
she and I showed up and sat down, and then he came and sat down with us at this table, and then she got up and left me alone with fucking Al Pacino, and I was like, so are your kids excited about Christmas? And he said to me, and I would love to hear you say it because I just want to relive this horrible moment. He said, yeah, they're kids. So could we just real quick, I will very nervously try to make conversation with you. If you could just give me, I just need to be embarrassed all over again.
I gotta get into Al before you ask me anything.
Okay, sorry. This is just sort of my kink.
I need my eyes getting wide. And I gotta look around as if I'm watching people. You go whenever you're ready.
It just so are the kids excited for Christmas?
Yeah, they're kids.
It's as horrible as I remember it. Yeah, good.
Thank you.
Didn't you do 2 for the money with him?
My very first feature film was a movie with Al Pacino.
That's true.
And I said to the director, I can't wait to work. Thank you so much. But please, if you could possibly arrange it, try not to make my first day on the set a day opposite Al Pacino, because I will physically shit myself. And that will not be good for the remainder of the shoot. And of course, because I said that, I put it out in the universe. Of course, my first day is with Al Pacino, and I have scenes with him all day long, and I was shitting myself. But he did the greatest thing ever. The very first scene, we're working in the same office with each other, and they're moving the setup around, and he's sitting on the desk where my character is working, and he picks up a deck of cards that are laying there as a prop and goes, okay, I'm going to do a card trick for you. Pick a card. And he spreads them out, and I pick a card, and he goes, Queen of Spades. Was not the Queen of Spades. Was not close to the Queen of Spades. It wasn't a spade. Wasn't a queen. But I'm not going to tell Al Pacino in that moment that he has fucked up his card trick. And I was like, yes, you're amazing. All right. Who's next? So, yeah, that was my first experience.
Oh, my God. I love
Michael
it.
Corleone was doing card tricks
for
for
him.
me badly.
You covered for Al Pacino. That's the best story ever.
Yes, only out of sheer fear. That's all.
I actually bet the real trick was he's like, I wanted to prove you're a yes man.
I told you that this guy would say yes to any fucking card I gave him. And I was right. Ooh-ah. Yeah.
Was he the most famous guy you've ever? Was that like I can't imagine any more starstruck than Pacino.
No, I've never worked with anybody of a higher caliber. Mm-mm.
I worked with James Caan one time, and it was
That's intimidating.
That was a good one where I was like,
I'll tell my Meryl Streep story.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
Trump.
Hear it, Claire.
Whatever. Next episode. I think I'm going to introduce another segment. I talked briefly about Guess That Kid with you guys, but I think a new segment that we're going to have, it's going to be a follow-up segment to the previous week's episode, is Best Brag.
Drop that name.
The best hot little nugget of stuff during
I
the previous
that.
episode.
I like that.
I want to play Who'd You Fuck?
Well,
oh no, just me.
Hey, scroll it, Jason. Scroll it right away.
Just me. Okay, never mind. I was just kidding. I didn't fuck anybody, so I don't want to play that.
Honestly, it's a show low. That's the lowest number I've ever had to put up for her since I started doing it.
So
or,
we're not gonna,
you know,
we
could also play like guess the amount of laundry on Kate's bed.
Yeah,
because there's always like a little something.
Honey, that's not even laundry. That's just clothes I had been wearing at some point today.
All right, did we cover everything we needed to?
Dear Lord.
My wife's out of town. My 2 kids are in there like, holy shit, is that guy gonna ever put us to bed? They're like,
mine are like, order me pizza. I'm like,
Jamie, they're the quietest I've ever heard them. So don't push it.
All
right.
Everything movies, kids and sports. We have a special show. Jeff Cesario. We did a killer interview. Great comic. Wrote on Larry Sanders. We're gonna actually put it up Thursday night as an episode. It's super fun. Ralph, I'm gonna put it up one more time. The Ralph Report, because it is one of the best shows around, and it's on
You're
Patreon.
kind. Thank you.
And I mean, you have a ton of fans, and it shows. And a lot of those fans came to watch you live tonight, which was super fun to kind of participate with Freddie B and the gang. And then next week, look who's here. Jeff Lewis is here.
Hey.
In this year, and he's
Another old Acme comedy alum.
I know. Maybe he'll come out that night for our big show.
That'd be
One more
funny.
time, if you are in LA, Sunday, December 19th, we're all going to be doing a show. So please come. Claire, you should come out and hang for the night. And,
I definitely will.
She has
we also-
27
honestly,
kids.
I
She
would do
can't
this.
go out.
I would sit here and drink with you for hours and play this, but I think some of us have to go watch our children at some
All
point.
right.
Right?
Not me.
Not me.
Huge
Stop
thanks, Ralph
bragging,
Furman.
Nate.
Ralph, please, you didn't do enough impressions, so you're going to have to come back, I think.
Yeah, definitely come
Please.
back.
All right, I'll come back sometime and I'll tell you about how I fucked my maid and made a baby.
Yes.
All
Yeah.
right, that's it, everybody. The parents.
we can't top that.
Good night, everybody.
Good night,
Thank you.
everybody.